Welcome to the Medium in the Middle podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie, the Medium in the Middle. On this podcast, I share my journey as a developing psychic medium, as a Reiki master teacher, as an Akashic record practitioner, and anything else that's thrown my way. Join me every week. I release new episodes every Tuesday. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to episode 60. 60, episode 60. Holy moly, does time fly. I can't believe that Medium in the Middle is recording episode 60 right now. I'm blown away, and today I opened a business. The Reiki room opened today. My in-person room opened today for in-person Reiki in Banff. Very exciting, but that means the past few weeks have been very busy, and I'm recording this podcast at 20 to 11 p.m. because I can't even say I have poor time management because I feel like I have very good time management. I schedule my days by the hour, but I just have had to give every extra minute to painting the room, setting up the room, shopping for the room, getting the last little bits for it. So it's been busy, but today I had my first clients in the room and it was so exciting. And I'm excited for that to be finished and opened because that's just one less thing I have to work on. I can now just go and work. It's different when you're setting up a room and licensing and all those things that you need to open up a business. Now I can just go there, work, and leave. Not worrying about paint and tape, and I never want to be a painter in any type of future life. So I hope my soul learned this lesson and got the painting out of my system. So I realized that I haven't done a Q&A in about 20 episodes. So the last time I did a Q&A was episode 42. And I thought, you know what? That will be a nice, easy episode to record when I'm on a crunch for time. And I've been getting a lot of questions recently. So that is what today's episode is going to be. But before I jump into that, I did want to pull some cards for us today. So I pulled two because I felt like we needed two, and I used two different decks. So the first one, as always, I'm using the Colette Baron Reid Enchanted Map deck. It's my favorite deck. I use it every week. And I pulled card number 7, Into the Unknown. And literally I pulled it and I was like, oh, of course. I don't know where you are, but I live in a little small town named Banff, and our COVID cases are rising and rising and rising. They're the highest they've ever been. And Into the Unknown is how I am so feeling today, especially opening a business today. I don't know if I'm going to be closed tomorrow. So when I pulled this card, I was like, yep, this is happening. So I'm going to read the card description here. Trust and all will be revealed. Life is an adventure, and often new opportunities will arise that you won't know how to deal with. This is one of those times. You're required to trust that this new phase will reveal wonders and miracles as you step into the unknown territory. Imagine that you are not only a pathfinder, but a path maker. Whatever your inquiry, trust that you'll be safe. Stay aware as you discover new and marvelous territories and valuable treasures. Okay, Colette Baron Reid. And then I pulled the second card from the Rebecca Campbell Work Your Light Oracle card. So I really wanted this deck because like all my friends have it, and I'm always like, oh, let me play with your deck. And then I bought it and I've used it like twice. So I just don't like new things. I'm the type of person, I go to the restaurant, I order the same type of thing, I go to the same places, I buy the same types of clothes. I just like the same. I'm a same type of person. I don't know if that's because I'm a Libra or just like a creature of habit, but I like same. So trying new things for me is a big deal. Anyways, in this deck, I pulled the card Transformation, which I feel like goes really well with Into the Unknown. You know, first I pulled Into the Unknown, then I pulled Transformation. They go together. So things are changing at a cellular level, deep healing. So the full card description. Things are changing at a cellular level. You are not who you were a year ago and who you will be soon. You are in between, emerging, half risen, half falling. Keep doing the work. You are transforming. You will look back at this time with awe. So much is happening in your inner world and within your cells. It's time to release old ways of being that have kept you in a fight, flight, freeze mode. To choose a new way of being where trauma is not the driving force. Our childhood patterns are rising up to be healed. As you allow yourself to observe them and feel them without attachment, they loosen their grip and fall away. You are being called to find a new way to self-soothe. Saturn and the Black Madonna and the African goddess Oshun influence this card. Saturn represents destruction and transformation. The Black Madonna represents the underground and all that has been cast aside, and Oshun represents the tender love of the original mother. A rethreading is happening. Healing at the deepest of levels. While you are in this phase, don't put yourself under pressure to perform. You may need to review your relationship with your body, perhaps even shifting your diet or exercise regime, or getting energetic healing support. You may also need to consider some kind of emotional support, as issues from your childhood may come up to be healed. You are deeply loved. So to work on your light activation, hold this card and say, I allow myself to receive the deepest healing and transformation for change to happen at a cellular level. Very interesting. I'm still getting used to reading these decks and these descriptions. I feel like they're much different than the Colette Baron read. I like them, but I'm getting used to them, So I'll have pictures of both these cards on my Instagram if you're interested to see what they actually look like. Every Tuesday on my stories, I always post them. So go follow me at Medium in the Middle if you wanted to check those out. Medium in the Middle is also on Facebook. So if you'd like to follow us on Facebook at Medium in the Middle. And for all things Medium in the Middle, if you wanted to book an appointment with me, I do Reiki and Akashic Records. If you wanted to register for the next meeting in the middle, it is next Thursday. It is Thursday, November 26th. I know that's Thanksgiving for my American friends, but it will be recorded. So if you register, I will be sending a copy to every email that's registered. It's only $11 Canadian, and we're talking about spirit communication, how to trust it, how to know it, how to just learn your language. I'm going to be offering kind of what I learned over the years and get you more confident with understanding when you get messages. It is still going to be linked into intuition, what we talked about in the first meeting in the middle in October, but I wanted to take it more specific into trusting when you get messages or gut feelings or how that feels. So you can register for all that on my website, themediuminthemiddle.com. It'll all be linked in the show notes for you as well. If you wanted to register for a Reiki course, everything in 2020 is sold out, but in January, there are a few spots left. So I believe level 2 is fully sold out, but level 1 at the end of January, January 30th and 31st, there is still about half the amount of spots left. So it's half sold out. And then I will be releasing more for February and March, just getting another level 2 out there and another level 1. So those dates will be coming shortly. And very exciting, the December meeting in the middle will be launching this week. It is going to be goals orientated, a year in review, and then looking forward. So this is my favorite thing to do. It's my favorite time of year to do it. I like to look back and see what I've accomplished this year and then plan out what I want for this year. And I was actually looking in my planner. I write them at the front of my planner, all of my goals. And it's crazy how you can hit your goals and not even realize almost because you're so busy doing it every day. So even though this was a difficult year for many of us, there's still good things that we can celebrate. And it's nice to kind of take that time to look back so you don't just write off 2020 as a write-off because good things still happen and they could still be recognized. So the link for all of that will be down in the show notes or themediuminthemiddle.com. And if you want in-person Reiki in Banff, just click book in Banff. So if you are around the area and you want to come see me in person, click book in Banff. Okay, so I want to jump into this week's Q&A. I haven't done a Q&A in a while, so I was thinking it is time. I want to start off with just a comment that I'm messaged a lot, and it's usually people sliding into the DMs being like, oh, I feel like I know you. I feel like I don't even need to introduce myself. I've listened to your stories. And then people will be like, I feel so weird. And I just want to let you know that it's not weird. You are listening to my story. You've been listening for a while now. Where Medium in the Middle has been on for over a year. And I mean, this is episode 60. So you've listened to 60 episodes of me, most likely. So don't feel weird when you're messaging me. I think it's really nice to get those messages. And I mean, I talk to dead people, so there's weirder things in life. So I put out on Instagram, if you have any questions, let me know. Spirit related, personal related, anything. And I'm going to get to as many of them as I can. You can always DM me questions. I answer every DM. It might not be immediately, but you will get an answer eventually. So, first question. Have I always had a strong intuition, or did it start more when you started Reiki? Ooh, great question. Have I always had a strong intuition? I feel like the answer to this is yes, I have always had a strong intuition, but I wasn't using it. So I would get those gut feelings, I would have those kind of aha moments, but I wouldn't follow my gut intuition and I wouldn't always listen. So looking back on things that I've done, things could have happened a lot quicker. I wouldn't have had to go through some harder things if I just would have listen to my gut intuition. So I feel like a lot has happened in the last few years since Reiki where I'm learning to trust it, especially through spirit and things that have occurred to me. I'm shown very clearly, like, if you listen, we will not steer you in the wrong direction. So I'm learning more and more how to listen. But I would say, yeah, I've always had a pretty good intuition, but I didn't always listen to it. So now I listen to it so strongly and I have so much trust in it, and that took a long time to build. So I definitely don't think that this happens overnight. Even if you do have a strong intuition, you still have to learn how to use it, which is why I'm working on that aspect in the meetings in the middle, because I feel like that's where the biggest shift and change can come for people, is learning how to use what you already have. But good question. The next question, can I remember if I had any mediumship experiences when you were a child? So I think I've talked about this in past episodes, but I don't remember anything when I was younger. I don't remember nothing, like no weird experiences when I was a kid. The only thing is that I've worked in 2 haunted hotels and I've had experiences in those, but I thought it was normal because it was a haunted hotel. So that was the Fairmont Banff Springs and the Fairmont Jasper Park Lodge. I've had some weird experiences at the Jasper Park Lodge. I was actually a room attendant and I was cleaning the room. And there's this one cabin that's known to be haunted. Apparently, I think it was the cleaner, like a housekeeper, fell down these stairs and died, like broke her neck. These stairs are insane. They're like straight up. So I was in the room right underneath the staircase and we were supposed to be just clearing the room of garbage. So they said go into the room and like strip the beds, take out the garbage. So I remember I was in the washroom and we were told to start clockwise from the door and you work your way around. So I was doing that and then I was getting all of like the leftover soaps from the showers, putting them in a bin. And then I was leaving the bathroom and I thought, like why is the water running? We were told we're not supposed to be like washing anything. We're just supposed to be taking out the garbage. Like, why is someone cleaning? And then I turned around and it was my shower that was on and like fully on. Like, it wasn't like just a drip. It was like someone turned on the shower. Like, there's no even way I could have turned on the shower because in my one hand I had a garbage bin and in my other hand I was picking up the soaps and putting them in the garbage bin. So it's not like I hit it accidentally, nothing. And I was like, what the hell? And I started screaming and I ran to the other room and I was yelling and I was like, the water just turned on. The water just turned on. So just like some weird stuff like that as I've been working. Like there's Sam, the elevator man at the Fairmont Banff Springs. I believe in him. I used to call on him when I was like in a rush because the elevators wouldn't open or they wouldn't close or they'd take you up to 9, then 7, and then take you to 4 where you were trying to go. So that's the only thing that I can remember. And whenever I talk about spirit before, Like if anyone went to go see a psychic, if anyone was playing with a Ouija board, anything like that, weird things would happen. Like the lights would flicker, the TV would shut off, a noise would happen that would scare us all. But that's like the only thing that ever happened to me before I realized it. I could have just been blind to it and not had put two and two together, but nothing that I can remember from my childhood. This past summer, or was it last summer? Anyways, I met up with like an old friend from grade school. She was in Banff, and I was telling her, what do you do now? Oh, I'm medium in the middle. She's like, oh, wow. She's like, actually, you know what? I remember when we were younger, she said that I always used to know what was going to happen. And I would, I guess, give her advice about kind of what to expect in life. And she's like, whatever you said that was going to happen to me always happened to me. And I was like, oh, I don't even remember that. But that was kind of cool. So not spirit related, but kind of intuition, psychic related. Okay, next question. Do you think Reiki and mediumship go hand in hand? Ooh, do I think Reiki and mediumship go? Okay, this is what I think. I think that Reiki is like the gateway to so many other things, which is why I encourage everyone to do Reiki level 1, because the attunements are like the opening, and it's the eye opening, it's the awakening, it's the beginning, it's the first door you walk through. I just think Reiki is the gateway for so many other things. And we talk about it in the Reiki course, but a big portion of Reiki is awareness. You're becoming aware, and then you can't be unaware after you're aware. So you can't unsee things once you see them. In the same way of you'll be more aware of your energy, other people's energies, how you feel, what you're drawn to. Maybe your intuition becomes stronger. Perhaps you realize you have other gifts. Perhaps you realize you really like tarot. Perhaps you realize you really like pendulums. Perhaps you realize you're a psychic or a medium. So I don't think directly Reiki and mediumship are like connected, but I do think Reiki is the gateway to so many other things. And it's the beginning of a lot, and it's just kind of the first step that you can take if you don't know what to do. If you're like, oh, like I want something, but I don't know what. I know I have a gift, but I don't know what. I know I want to take this further, but I don't know how. If you take Reiki, I feel like doors will open for you. So I do feel like Reiki is that first step, which will give you more insight into things, which is super interesting. For me, it was mediumship, but every time I teach Reiki, I'm always like, this doesn't mean you're going to become a medium now that you have Reiki. It just means that you might realize some things about you. You might realize some things you're interested in. Yeah, just things will open up. Who are some of the spirit visitors you have had lately? So this is actually a good question, because I think it was last year at this time, I did have spirits kind of following me around, and they would be with me for months until I found out who they belonged to or who their message was for. And that doesn't happen anymore, or it hasn't happened in a really long time. And I think it's more because spirit is telling me more in the moment, and I don't need to have them following me around. Also, boundaries that I've set, like they're not allowed to follow me around. They're not allowed to be in my house. They're not allowed to be in my bedroom, which is funny because they're totally allowed to be in my working space that I just opened yesterday. So when I'm at work, even when I'm in there alone, I'm like, whoa, it's only been 2 weeks that I've been working in there, painting and getting it ready. But spirit knows that they can go there. So it's just like a party of spirits up in there. But they don't follow me home. They're not allowed to follow me home. So I haven't had anyone bothering me, if that's what you mean. I've definitely been giving a lot of messages, and I have a lot of stories to tell you guys, group readings, and just things happening in my sessions. But no one following me around specifically, but I am getting lots of signs that I need to separate mediumship and Reiki. I just need to figure out what that looks like. It won't be until the new year, and it's just getting, I don't want to say harder, but more difficult to separate. And you only have an hour in your session, so I can't do Reiki and mediumship. And sometimes people want mediumship, but they book Reiki, but they need Reiki, so they get Reiki, but they wanted mediumship. So if they would have just booked mediumship, that's what they would have gotten. And it's getting a little messy, like people know now what I do, so they want that obviously. And I'm like, oh no, I don't book those sessions. So I need to put on my big girl pants and sort it out, but we'll see. So it's in the works. But do people follow me around anymore? No. Do messages come? Yes. So even when I did the group reading, I think I talked about this in a few episodes ago, I didn't get any messages in advance. And Spirit always gives me messages in advance so that I have something to start with. And they didn't this time, and I knew it was a test to be like, we're not going to give you any pre-information. You have to go in there blind and just see what happens. So super interesting to see how kind of your gifts change and how spirit communication with you changes as I'm developing more. They're now testing me more. So they don't have to come to me early because they know when I begin, they're going to arrive then. So super interesting. And obviously, I don't like change. I like the same, but it was like, oh, I know this is a test. Okay, I know what they're doing. They're not going to give me information in advance because they want me to trust. Okay, the next question is, how did you begin putting yourself out there and your purpose? Ooh, okay. I would say I began with the podcast, which pre-podcast launch took me months to get online. Like, I feel like I had the idea for a while and then I didn't put it into action for many months. Fear definitely held me back. What would people think? Also, like, it's a lot of work. I had to learn how to edit audio. I had to get a new computer. I had to buy all the equipment. I had to dedicate time each week. I had to sort out my stories. I had to put them in order. Like, it was a lot of work. So it took me months and months and months. And then after the podcast was out, it still took me months to get used to putting myself out there on my Instagram, on the podcast. So I feel like it's been a natural progression. It hasn't been anything that I planned, but I would say that I get a lot of feedback from people. I get a lot of messages, I get a lot of DMs, and that really like keeps me going. And it encourages me to keep sharing my story, keep doing what I'm doing, knowing that I can help people, knowing that people are listening to my story and relating, knowing that this could be supporting someone else in their own journey. It's kind of like bigger than me now. So my little fears or things that would help hold me back kind of feel juvenile now. It's like, well, you're helping so many people, you're reaching more people. It's worth it. And you definitely get more comfortable doing things the more you do them, obviously. So like now I show up on my Instagram stories on video like every single day, where I think for the first 6 months of my Instagram, I didn't even show my face and I didn't even know what to post. So now I feel like I can post whatever because I'm not afraid of judgment. I'm not afraid of what people will think. And also, like, this is just me. People know what they're getting. So I can post funny videos and I can post goofy things. It definitely comes with time. But how did I begin? I think I just had to jump and leap and I just knew I had to do it. Again, intuition comes in. I knew I had to start the podcast. I knew I had to tell my story. And I just kind of always know I'm like, the podcast is going to go places, like it's going to grow. And it has grown. And I think it's still going to grow more than I can ever imagine. But I would say start small, do little things, and you have to get uncomfortable. You have to make yourself uncomfortable because if you stay in your comfort zone, you're never going to grow and change from that. If I stayed in my comfort zone, we would all never learn new things, never learn new skills, never try out things. So it's really important to just do little things here and there. And then eventually it will just be the natural progression. You'll be like, okay, this is what I want. Also, in my case, people ask for what they want. So everything I've created is because enough people have asked me that I do it. So teaching Reiki online, people asked. Teaching level 2 online, people asked. The meetings in the middle, people asked. Distance Reiki, like the whole reason why I started my business is because people were asking. So I would say start small, keep chipping away at it, like day by day, even when you think no one's listening, someone's listening. And you just gotta, follow that gut feeling that's pushing you. Good question, though. Okay, so this will be the last question for today. It says, "Hi, Steph. When I feel spirit around, it feels more like an anxiety attack coming on. How can I change that?" And this is a great question because this exactly happened to me. I used to just think I was having an anxiety attack and I would go to the bathroom and try to like get away from people. And it took me a really, really, really long time to realize that it was spirit. So number one, it's recognition that it is spirit and you're not having an anxiety attack. Be aware of kind of what you're experiencing when it started. So for example, if it didn't start until Joe walked into the room, well, it's probably someone for Joe. And then also set your boundaries. Tell them that they can't make you feel this way. You need to really be clear with spirit that They're not allowed to take over your emotions that way. This took me a long time to learn, but once I knew that I could decipher what's mine, it's mine, what's yours is yours, and I don't need to feel your stuff, I don't need to feel your spirit that strongly, that's when it really started to shift for me. So it's going to be a conscious, this is not mine, this is not mine, this is yours, or this is just spirit, I'm not having a panic attack, like I'm fine. Repeating that to yourself until you get used to the feeling, because then you'll get the feeling and it'll start like that panic attack feeling, and then you'll be like, oh no, this is spirit. Okay, who's it for? Okay, what are they going to say? Okay, what's their message? So now when I get that feeling, it's like, okay, tell me who you are. Like, tell me who you are. If you're not going to tell me who you are and you're not going to tell me your message, then leave me alone. So I'm almost like cutthroat with it because I don't have time to waste and I can't be bothered. Like, I literally cannot be bothered. Like, they can't bother me. And they are not allowed to bother me in my sleep. They're not allowed to bother me when I'm out. Like, there's very strict rules that I have. I still need to live a normal life. I'm still having a human experience. I can't be flying high with spirit all the time. So I would say set your boundaries. Know that it's not yours, and you have the awareness now that you can recognize that it is spirit and it's not a panic attack. So just keep telling yourself that. Telling yourself, I'm not having a panic attack, this is spirit. I'm not having a panic attack, this is spirit. Figuring out the message, like digging deeper into that. So I'm going to talk about that as well as in the meeting in the middle. Hopefully that will be helpful. But yeah, really good question, because I feel like panic attacks can be mixed up for lots of different things. Empaths, maybe if you're feeling other people's worry or anxiety, if you walk into a room and all of a sudden you become anxious, if you're just sitting there and something shifts, like there's a reason behind that. Something happened that's shifting how you're being. So it's really good to be aware of it and then just dig deeper, ask questions, figure out why, and then figure out what works for you to tone that down, to turn down the volume, to not feel that way, because we don't need to be overwhelmed in that way in order to communicate with spirit. You can set the boundaries. You can tell them how you want to be communicated with. It's just learning how to do that. So keep working at it and just be very clear and stern. Like sometimes I yell literally out loud, leave me alone. Like, you are not allowed to wake me up in the middle of the night or whatever. You're not allowed to make me feel this way. So that is all the questions that I have for now. Thank you for your questions. Every few episodes, I like to throw in a Q&A. I'm usually start to get the same questions. So it's kind of like, all right, people are thinking the same thing and they're looking for the same type of information. So I am excited for this week because things do kind of calm down for me a little bit. I like that meme that says adulting is just saying things slow down after this week, every week for the rest of your life, which is funny because I do feel that, but I feel that not having to open a business, being taken off my plate, is going to make everything feel a lot more settled. Just painting and cleaning and buying furniture and going to the city and doing all the paperwork you need to do was just like added. So I can handle my normal kind of workload. But with that added, I was spinning around. So we're open. That's done. I still need a few pieces of furniture for the room, but it doesn't have to be now. And I'm just excited to kind of get into the groove of things. So because I am doing in person now a few days a week, that means there's less online appointments. So they will go quicker than normal, but you will still be able to book in, but it probably will be booking 1 to 2 weeks out. So if you want any appointments, themediuminthemiddle.com. Again, my name is Stephanie. I am the Medium in the Middle. I release new episodes every Tuesday. So I will see you all next week in your ears. Thank you for listening and have a great week, everyone. Goodbye.